Ladies, you ever been in love so deep it shakes you? I'm talking about the kind of love that humbles a man, breaks him down in the best way possible. But let me tell you something, real men don't cry for every woman. But when a woman knows how to hit his soul, just once, just one time with something real, something deep, that man will sit in silence and cry for her all night long. You ever loved somebody so much and then woke up one day to realize they took that love for granted? That's what happens to a man when he finally meets a woman who loves him right, deeply, purely. And then that love is gone. A woman doesn't need to scream, cry, or throw things to leave an impact. No. Sometimes it just takes one act, one strong moment to make a man sit in silence, haunted by what he lost. You want him to cry for you all night? Then don't argue. Don't beg. Don't try to force him to understand. Just stop. Just once, stop explaining yourself. Stop showing up. Stop checking in. That one time you choose silence over drama, peace over chaos, and your own self-worth over his excuses, he will feel it. Not on the surface, but in his soul. Men don't cry easily. They hold back. Society tells them to be tough, to bury their feelings. But when a woman touches the very parts of him that no one else can reach, his dreams, his fears, his insecurities, and then pulls that warmth away, that's what breaks him. Not anger, not jealousy, not fights, but love, the loss of it. The silence of a woman who gave everything she had and one day just stops trying. That silence will ring louder in his ears than any words you've ever screamed. He'll sit there, phone in hand, reading old messages, listening to your old voice notes, looking at your photos, replaying your laugh in his head, wondering how he let this happen, how he let someone like you slip away. You didn't even have to say goodbye with bitterness. You just said it with clarity. Maybe it was a message. Maybe it was a long pause. Maybe it was nothing at all. But he noticed you were always the one holding things together. You were the one showing up. You were the one texting first. You were the one explaining, fixing, holding the weight of the relationship on your shoulders. But then one day you put it all down and he felt it. Not just in his day, not just in his routine, but in his gut. That's when it hits. That's when the tears come. Not the kind that fall in front of people, the kind that fall in the dark, the kind that come when a man is alone, staring at the ceiling, realizing she's really not coming back this time. It's not about revenge. It's not about manipulation. It's about choosing yourself. About knowing your value. When a woman gives her heart and still walks away because her peace matters more, that changes a man. That reshapes the way he looks at love. Because deep down, he knew you loved him. He knew you tried. He knew that every time you stayed after an argument, every time you forgave what hurt, you were doing it for love. But even love has limits. And when you reach yours and you do it with grace, that stays with a man forever. He'll cry for you when he realizes that nobody else listens like you did, that nobody else looks at him the way you did, that nobody else saw the little boy inside the man the way you did. And when he realizes he traded something rare for something temporary, that's when his heart breaks. He won't admit it to his boys. He won't post about it, but he'll feel it. Oh, he'll feel it. He'll cry into his pillow. He'll avoid his favorite songs. He'll scroll past your pictures, trying not to double tap. He'll remember that one moment, maybe when you held his hand tighter than usual. Maybe when you kissed his forehead and told him, I'm here. Maybe when you waited up late just to hear about his day. That moment will replay in his head like a movie scene he can't forget. All it takes is once, just once, a moment of powerful self-respect, a pause, A goodbye that doesn't come with shouting, but with dignity. You don't need to slam doors. You don't need to tell him he'll regret it. You just leave softly, finally. And that's the moment that haunts him. Because a good woman doesn't leave because she stopped loving him. She leaves because she finally loved herself more. And that kind of love, when it's removed, is unforgettable. It lingers. It stays in the corners of his room, in the set on his hoodie, in the playlist he can't listen to anymore. He won't move on easily, not from you, because you weren't just someone to pass time with. You were a healer, a listener, a builder, a partner, a woman who loved with all she had and asked only for effort in return. And when he failed to give that and you finally walked away, that's when the reality hit. That's when he broke down. He cried not just because you were gone, but because he knows it was his fault. He'll scroll through your page at 2 a.m. hoping you're still single. He'll type out a message and erase it. He'll check to see if you saw his story. He'll pray that one day you'll reach out. But you won't, because now you're healing. Now you've stepped into your strength. It wasn't the screaming or the arguments that made him cry. It was the calm. It was the silence. It was the knowing that the woman who once fought for him no longer had the energy to fight. That's what did it. And he'll cry for you, not just that night, but for many nights. He'll cry not because he's weak, but because he knows he lost something strong, something rare, something real. Something that he may never find again. There comes a moment in a man's life when he realizes he lost something real. And it doesn't hit him during the arguments. It doesn't hit him while he's out with his friends. It doesn't hit when he's being distant or taking you for granted. It hits him when everything goes quiet. When he finally notices your absence in the things he used to ignore. That's when it hits the hardest. You don't need to punish him. You don't need to fight. You don't need to say 1,000 words. You just need to stop. Just once. Pull back. Disappear. That one act of stepping into your peace, stepping out of the chase, stepping into your value, that's what breaks him. And when it breaks him, he will cry. Not in front of people, not to his friends. He'll cry in the dark, alone, for hours, all night. It starts with little things. He'll check his phone and see no new message from you. He'll wait for that good morning text you always sent, and it won't come. He'll scroll through your chat thread, trying to find something, anything, that felt final, but he won't find it. Because you didn't leave in anger. You left in strength. You didn't announce your departure with fury. You walked away quietly with grace. You didn't slam the door. You closed it gently behind you, knowing you gave all you could. A man doesn't always recognize the value of a good woman while he has her, especially a woman who forgives, who shows up, who's soft in her love but strong in her effort. He gets used to it. He takes her love for granted because she gives so freely, so consistently. But even the strongest hearts get tired. Even the most patient women have limits. And when that moment comes, when she finally decides she's done begging for bare minimum, she doesn't yell, she doesn't threaten, she just stops. And that silence, it screams in his soul louder than any words ever could. He'll replay every moment in his mind, every time he brushed off your feelings, every time he chose pride over communication, every time he made you question your worth. And now, with no more chances left, he finally sees the cost. He'll sit in the dark, head in his hands, tears on his face, not just because you're gone, but because he knows you left with love still in your heart. That's what kills him the most. You didn't leave because you stopped loving him. You left because you finally loved yourself enough to walk away from someone who didn't show up. He won't be able to shake the memories. The way you looked at him when he was vulnerable. The way you encouraged him when he felt lost. The way you stood beside him even when he gave you reasons not to. And now there's no one there. His phone doesn't light up with your name anymore. His days feel colder, his nights feel longer, and that space you filled so fully now echoes with regret. There will be a moment where he'll try to reach out. Maybe he'll send a message. Maybe he'll call and hang up before you answer. Maybe he'll stare at your social media, trying to figure out if you've moved on, but you won't reply because you've already moved into a chapter that no longer includes him. Not because you hate him, but because you finally understood that love shouldn't hurt more than it heals, and that understanding gave you the strength to let go. He'll cry, and not just once, it'll come in waves. Some nights he'll break down without warning, a song, a scent, a familiar memory. It'll hit him like a storm. He'll remember how you laughed at his jokes, how you knew when something was wrong even before he said a word, how you never gave up on him. And he'll realize he lost the one person who truly saw him, accepted him, and still wanted to stay. He'll try to replace you, maybe with attention, maybe with someone new, but nothing will feel the same because no one will match your energy. No one will bring the warmth you did. No one will understand his silence like you did. And eventually the distractions won't be enough. The nights will get quiet again. And that's when it'll hit even harder. That it was never about finding someone else. It was about realizing too late that you were the one. You were the peace in his chaos, the calm in his storms, the hand that held his when no one else would, and he let it go. So yes, he'll cry, because he'll understand that he didn't lose you because you stopped loving him. He lost you because he couldn't love you the way you deserved. And now he's stuck with the memory of what was and the knowledge that he can't get it back. There is power in a woman's silence when it comes from a place of growth. When she stops trying to fix things and starts protecting her peace, it's not weakness, it's evolution. And for the man who let her go, that evolution feels like grief. It feels like loss. It feels like heartbreak. He'll cry for the conversations you won't have, for the touch he won't feel, for the forgiveness that won't come this time, for the forgiveness that won't come this time, because this time you're done. And when a good woman is done, she's gone for good. He'll cry for you all night, not just because you left, but because you did it with dignity, because you didn't curse him, you didn't humiliate him, you didn't lower yourself. You simply let go. That grace, that final act of quiet strength is what he'll remember most. He'll cry not for your absence, but for everything he never said, never did, never fixed when he still had the chance. And there is something powerful about a woman who decides just once that she's not going to keep trying for someone who won't meet her halfway. And it's in that one moment, that single act of quiet departure, that a man truly begins to feel her absence. At first, it may not register. He may think you're just giving him space, cooling off, waiting for him to call. But when the hours turn into days and the silence lingered, it begins to eat at him. Not because you yelled or begged or made a dramatic exit. No, that would be easy to dismiss. But because you left with grace, with peace, with finality. And when a woman who loves with her whole heart walks away with dignity, that's what destroys a man more than anything else. He'll sit there wondering what just happened. He'll scroll through the last few messages trying to decode your tone. He'll remember the last conversation and wish he had paid more attention. You were there giving him everything you had, and he didn't see it until you stopped. The attention he took for granted, the calls, the texts, the check-ins, the thoughtful gestures, they all come to a halt. And suddenly, He's left with a silence that's too loud to ignore. That's when it starts to hit. Not all at once, but gradually, like a slow ache. He'll start to notice your absence in every part of his day, the way he used to tell you the little things that didn't matter to anyone else, the way you'd ask about his day before anyone else did, the way your energy made his world feel lighter, even if he never said it out loud. All of that is gone now. And it's not because you stopped caring. It's because you finally accepted the truth. Loving someone shouldn't mean losing yourself. And the moment you stepped back, not out of spite, but out of self-worth, that's when his heart began to crumble. Because a man can only ignore so much before reality catches up with him. And reality will show him everything he didn't want to admit while you were still trying. He'll think about the times you stayed after an argument, still choosing him despite the pain. The nights you cried but still answered his call. The days you held him up while he gave you barely anything in return. He'll remember how you smiled at him even when you were tired, how you poured into him while running on empty. He'll remember all of it, and it will haunt him. He'll play your voice notes just to hear your laugh again. He'll revisit old photos to feel something real. He'll lie in bed and go over every time you told him, I just want to be understood, and realize he never listened. He'll cry because now it's too late. You gave him chances, more than he deserved, but love isn't infinite when it's one-sided. And now he's facing the loss of a woman who would have stayed forever if he had simply chosen her back. Tears don't fall because you disappeared. They fall because of the way you did it. With strength, with a quiet message that said, I can't do this to myself anymore. And that message doesn't need to be spoken aloud. He sees it in the way you stop responding, in the way your name disappears from his notifications, in the way your energy is no longer wrapped around him like it used to be. That withdrawal of love, it's powerful, and it leaves an emptiness that nothing else can fill. He'll try to act like he's fine, post pictures, hang out, pretend. But when the night gets quiet and the distractions fade, that's when the weight settles in. That's when the tears come. Because men don't cry for women who were convenient. They cry for women who were real, who touched their soul, who saw the parts they hid from the world and still chose to love them. And when he realizes that kind of love won't be coming back, that's when his world breaks. He'll think about the little things, how you remembered the small details about him, how you knew his moods before he even spoke, how your voice had a way of calming his storms. And then he'll think about how he made you feel invisible, how he dismissed your emotions, how he kept saying you're too emotional when really you were just deeply invested. And the guilt will sit heavy on his chest because now he knows what he had. Now he knows what he lost. A woman who walks away in strength doesn't just leave behind silence. She leaves behind an echo, a reminder of what love could have been if he had just shown up. And no matter how much time passes, that echo will follow him into new relationships, into lonely nights, into moments of reflection when he least expects it. He'll cry, not just because he misses you, but because he failed you. Because he didn't appreciate the rare kind of love that doesn't come around twice. And maybe one day he'll reach out, he'll say he's sorry, he'll try to explain, but by then you'll be too far gone, not just physically, but emotionally, because your healing began the moment you stopped trying to fix someone who wasn't ready to be whole with you. And while he's sitting in the remnants of what you two used to be, you'll be stepping into a life that feels lighter, fuller, free. He'll cry for you all night and maybe longer, because deep down he knows the truth. He had a woman who loved him fully, who showed up for him, who believed in him when he didn't even believe in himself. And now all he has is the memory of that love and the sound of his own tears in the dark. There's a kind of woman that walks into a man's life and changes everything. Not with drama, not with pressure, but with love. The kind of love that wraps around him even when he's not ready for it. The kind of love that forgives, that understands, that listens when no one else does. And when a man has that kind of woman and takes her for granted, the pain he feels when she finally stops trying is unlike anything else. It's not the absence that hurts him first. It's the silence, the stillness, the moment when he realizes she's no longer available in the way she always was. That's when the tears come. That's when the reality sets in. Because the loss of a woman who truly loved him isn't something he'll just get over. It's something he'll carry, sometimes quietly, sometimes painfully, for the rest of his life. It happens slowly at first. He wakes up and doesn't see her message. He goes through his day and doesn't hear her voice. He reaches for the comfort she used to provide and finds only emptiness. But what breaks him is when he realizes he caused this. She didn't just leave out of nowhere. She waited. She hoped. She prayed that he would change. And she stayed through things most people would have walked away from. She stayed because she saw something in him he couldn't even see in himself. She stayed because she believed love could heal. But even the strongest woman eventually learns that love shouldn't mean losing yourself. The tears don't come the first night. They come after he's told himself 100 times she'll be back. After he's scrolled through their old photos, after he's typed out a message and deleted it because he doesn't know what to say, the pain creeps in like a slow flood. It starts in the chest, then hits the stomach, then tightens in the throat until it spills from his eyes. He doesn't even realize he's crying at first, but once it starts, it doesn't stop, because for the first time, he feels what it's like to be without her, really without her. And it's not the loneliness that breaks him. It's the knowing that she was once his completely, and now he has to live with the memory of that. He'll remember the time she sat with him in silence just to be near him. The time she texted him first just to check on his heart. The time she softened her tone even when she was hurting because she didn't want to push him further away, and now those things are gone. Not because she stopped loving him, but because she started loving herself more. She finally saw that she couldn't keep giving to someone who didn't pour anything back into her. And that decision, that one brave decision to let go, that's what makes him cry the hardest. He'll lay in bed at night with the lights off, staring at the ceiling, running through everything he did wrong, every time he didn't listen, every time he dismissed her feelings, every time he chose distance instead of closeness. And he'll wish more than anything that he could go back, even just one day, to hold her and say everything he should have said before. But it's too late. Because a woman like that doesn't wait forever. She gives chances, yes, but when her soul is tired, she leaves with nothing but love and a goodbye that's silent but final. He'll cry not because she left in anger, but because she left in peace. That's the part that cuts the deepest. She didn't need to insult him. She didn't need revenge. She didn't try to prove her worth. She simply let go. And now that peace she chose is the very thing tormenting him. Because now he sees that she was the calm in his chaos, the safe place he always came back to. And now that she's gone, he's left with nothing but the echo of what they used to be. There's no replacement for a woman who loved you with her whole soul. No distraction will quiet that pain. He might try, he might talk to others, go out, smile for the world. But when he closes his eyes, it's her he sees. When he hears a song they once played together, it's her voice he hears. When he smells something familiar, it's her memory that hits him in the chest. Because you don't forget a love like that. You don't move past it. You learn to live with the loss. And that learning comes with tears. Long, aching tears, the kind you don't admit to anyone else. The kind that fall in the privacy of a dark room at 2 a.m. He'll wish he could go back and change. He'll remember the little things she did, the way she used to touch his hand when she was worried, the way she waited for him after work even when he was cold, the way she made him feel when she looked at him like he was the only man in the world. And now all of that is gone. Not because she stopped feeling, but because she finally accepted that she deserved more than what he gave. He'll sit in the dark and cry, not because he was abandoned, but because he was loved, truly loved, and he let that love slip through his fingers. That regret doesn't go away easily. It sticks. It whispers in the quiet moments. It reminds him of who she was, of how she held his world together without ever asking for much in return, of how she chose him again and again, even when it hurt her. And now, when he's finally ready, she's no longer there. That's what happens when a woman walks away with love still in her heart. It doesn't break him immediately. It breaks him slowly, deeply, completely. And he'll cry for the woman who gave him everything, for the chances he wasted, for the silence she left behind, for the goodbye she never had to say because it was already written in her eyes the last time she looked at him. With sadness, yes, but with peace. And that peace is the part that he'll never be able to erase.